So, Brew, you don't know this because you don't follow Wilds on Twitter. But Wilds yesterday speculated, are we watching the last quarter of Tatum and Brown together? Mm-hmm. So I ask you, should they break them up?
No.
Okay, what should they do?
I think you have to sign Jaylen Brown.
For $5,290.
Yes.
$58 million a year. Because Tatum's going to get $5,305 the next offseason. So that's your team.
Go ahead, give your take, and then I'll unleash a
No, I mean, I think
fireball of a take.
I don't think you can. I think under the new CBA particularly, I don't think you can give Jaylen Brown superstar money when he's not close to it. Just don't think you can. And I think that it is not coincidental. I think Jaylen Brown doesn't want to be a Celtic. I think he gave a couple interviews that made it seem like he didn't. And I don't find it coincidental, Brew, that his production fell off a cliff the moment he was named All-NBA because it changed the math for him. It was going to be very easy for him to leave if he wasn't named All-NBA. Now you're forfeiting potentially $100 million if you don't want to be there. But can we show you his numbers pre and post being named All-NBA? That's in the middle of the playoffs. Halfway through, 11 games in, played another 10. Maybe it's coincidental, or maybe it was rattling around in his head. And I also, Brew, don't think, if this duo, the whole idea of this duo is, it's a wings league, we're going to shut down the opposing team's
two-way wings.
Two-way wings. Well, Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin just lit you on fire for 7 games. So I think that there is better ways to utilize those resources than going with Tatum, Brown, and then what's going to have to be a really scraped-down team because you're paying those two guys $110 million per season each.
Look,
combined.
I don't know. I mean, none of us know if your theory is correct about the All-NBA. Like, is that what rattled him? If it is, bye. If making second-team All-NBA and having the opportunity to make $100 million more in a great franchise like the Celtics, historically great, if that makes you play worse, you ain't the guy for us. I think Jaylen, I don't believe that theory because he's always shown himself to be strong mentally on and off the court. Now, he didn't show himself to be strong mentally in this series. I'll give you that. But my thing, I'm going to go more to basketball. And what they need is a playmaker because they don't have one. It was supposed to be Brogdon. He's not like a traditional playmaker. He can run the point.
It's not Marcus Smart.
No, Smart's clearly not that. And that hurt him last year against Golden State in the finals. So what happens is Tatum or Brown ends up handling the ball a lot. And neither of them is like, a lot of teams have a point forward that can handle the ball, run the offense, get guys involved. They're not that. They can handle it, but they're not setting everybody else up. So I would shop Tatum. I don't mean I'm not definitely trading. I would definitely shop him. I mean, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Shop Brown.
Yep.
But if I don't get anything great, then I don't have to offer him the super max.
You're saying offering him a little less than that.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Wilds. I was trying to get you here.
Well, Brew kind of stepped on it.
But it was an accident.
You would shop Tatum?
Here's what I'm asking. Everything gets blamed. Like Jayson Tatum's deficiencies as a basketball player end up being shouldered by Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is supposed to be the second guy, right? He's the second guy. So it's like, oh, Tatum's down. You're supposed to step up. He's like, man, I'm the second guy. Maybe my first guy needs to get better. No one talks about like maybe Tatum needs to get better. Oh, they need to go get it. You got to get rid of Jaylen Brown because why? You don't have a playmaker? Well, you got a supermax guy who was 4th in MVP. Why can't he do that?
That's not his position.
Okay. The Jayson Tatum, I don't think you can shop Tatum because I don't think you can possibly get equal value for him. We were talking about this before the show. I just don't think you're going to get
Tatum's
equal
better?
Value. Yes, but
So
I agreed on that point. The other reason that I think Jaylen Brown is worth discussing is can I just throw out 3 potential phone calls about trades that I think the other team has a long meeting about. If Boston calls Memphis, says Jaylen Brown and something for Ja, Memphis at least has a long meeting. Wait a second. We have talked about Memphis's record without Ja, about Memphis needing an adult in the room.
Well, at this point, though, you don't know what Ja got to get his life
So you're
together.
saying Boston is the...
I would love Ja if he's straight.
Sure. Okay. All right. So,
Right?
but that's
He gotta get his life
that's
together.
at least a meeting. If they call Minnesota, say Karl Anthony Towns, it fits for Minnesota. It becomes Anthony Edwards' team. You need a wing. You gave Gobert all that stuff.
They were chatting post-game.
That is a discussion. And the one you don't like when I bring up, but it works for all parties involved, is the Damian Lillard discussion.
Yeah,
Which is
you don't like that?
this is what the deal would look like. Wild just thinks everyone gets attached to Damian Lillard.
It's the solution to every problem.
No, you're right about that because there's a lot of teams that would like
Damian Lillard.
Right, but
you don't be good on this
this
show.
actually
What if we
makes
got
sense,
Damian
though.
Lillard?
Yeah.
He could break down the game for us. Like, we know.
But doesn't
He's
that
not
make
coming.
sense?
But
It always makes sense.
No, but hold on.
Like,
But this is the
Damian
thing.
Lillard, come on this
Yes.
show, please, to help us break down the finals.
I actually already asked him. He said.
And what'd
he's
he
not
say?
doing-
Yeah,
he's not
because he doesn't
doing
want to leave
media.
Portland.
Hold on. Wait a second. But you have to find the team that A, Dame might want to go to because they're contenders, and B, that has an asset that makes sense for Portland. So that those are discussions you've got to have because I just don't think Tatum and Brown are going to get enough better together to get over the hump.
I'll say this for Wilds' point of keeping them. They're young. I know they've been in the league now 7 and 8 years, but 25 and 26 years
They are
old.
young, but it's a
And
lot of reps.
They're going to get, I agree. Usually you kind of break through when you've been to 4 or 5 conference
This is why I think Tatum needs to be treated, if he's in club superstar, like the other superstars. Chris Middleton can get a little slice of blame pie if the Bucks fail, but Giannis shoulders the bulk of it.
Yeah.
Here it seems like Tatum's untouchable, and it's always Jaylen Brown's fault. I know he missed 8 threes and he had 8 turnovers. He had a bad game. But it's not a 50-50 blame pie. The superstar needs to take the blame.
You're saying this based on last night or just historically?
In general.
Listen, Wilds has still got to burn his saddle about the 100 turnovers.
Right, clearly.
He thinks that he should have gotten
Last
more.
night, I think Tatum's getting a bit of a pass because he was injured or hurt. That's why. If he was not hurt, he's getting crushed.
But it's all, but
it's
You're also down 3-0. Like, the reason you're in this situation is because you lost your 2 games at home.
That's correct.
Now we're talking about coaches.
Yeah.
Optimistically, first-year head coach Joe Mazzulla was 1 game away from the finals. Pessimistically, he looked consistently overmatched by Spoelstra. And since the Bucks and Sixers fired their coaches, perhaps it's the fashionable move. Okay, Mazzulla, right coach?
I think obviously not. I think I feel badly because he wasn't supposed to be the coach. He's the youngest coach. He wasn't being groomed for it. He wasn't the coach in waiting. That guy got poached by Ainge in Boston. Mm-hmm. They didn't expect to move on from Udoka. And listen.
He was behind the bench.
Yeah, he was
right.
He was on the second row. This would be my question. What's the argument for keeping him? What's the argument?
They're 1 game away from the finals.
Okay, but
I think there's a few others. One, this would be your 4th coach in 4 years. Mm-hmm. What I think, go ahead. I don't want to.
No, go.
What I think they should do is, at this point, keep him and bring in some veteran assistants. Because Will Hardy off to Utah, Damon Stoudemire off to college. Like Sam Cassell, who played there in 08, won that championship. He wasn't a key part of that
he
team.
Should be a head coach. So
he should, but if he doesn't get one, bring him over. And if it keeps going awry with Mazzulla, you got Cassell right there. So I would bring in Cassell and some other veteran assistants and keep him.
I think he could. No NBA coach who has made it to the conference finals has been fired immediately after making the conference finals. Several guys have been fired midway through the following year. So at least let them start the year, see if you get cooking, and if not, you probably pull the rug out from under.
Listen, everyone was okay with firing him if they lost Game 4. I don't think 2 decent wins and a buzzer beater should change your opinion drastically. That's where I'm at. It seems harsh.
It showed that he hasn't lost the players, the fact that they came down.
He hasn't lost the players, but it doesn't mean he's ready for the job. And I don't think a summer is going to change that. Sorry. I know it's harsh.
He's got a lot to do. They got to work on that defense.
Yeah, get that
There
zone.
are other shots other
figure
than
out
the
that
three.
zone defense.
Other than the three-point shot.
My middle school coach had.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.